The first one is exactly what we've got now in the current regulation, which basically it's a lot smaller than we've got in the current regulation, but it basically says if an organ of state must in the tender document stipulate the preference point system, and any specific goal is envisioned in terms of section 2(1)(d) and E of the Act. Okay, so this is saying you need to specify in your tender document how are you going to score the 10 and the 20. Are you going to do it through a triple BE table that we've got now? Are you going to use maybe the 2001 regulations that existed? And you've got to stipulate that and specify those in your tender document. This is interesting that they've brought this in. This was only in the 2017 regulations. I don't know if this is something that the minister is overstepping on, but basically saying if it's unclear, if it's going to be 80-20 or 90-10, then the lowest acceptable tender will determine the applicable preference point system that will be used. The 80-20, they then get into it and they state 30 to 50 million. You'll note that they've still got the all applicable taxes included in the detail. They've prescribed the formula. There is no real change to this formula at all. Subject to Regulation 9, we'll come back to that just now. It must be awarded to the lowest tenderer. They've done the same thing then with the 90-10. It's above 50 million, inclusive of all applicable taxes. They're not saying specifically VAT, all applicable taxes. Then they've got the formula again, and Regulation 9, you must award it. And then they have brought in, which we don't have in the current regulations, they have brought in tenders to generate income or to dispose of or lease assets with a rand value equal to 30,000 up to rand value of 50 million. They've described that, and then they've given the formula. This is what is termed the reverse formula. You'll see there's a plus sign here. And again, it's must be awarded to the tenderer who scores the highest points, and they've got the same then for the 90-10. So generate income or to dispose of or lease assets with a rand value.
Sorry, can you stop there? In any of the above formulas and stuff, I'm just scanning through it now. And, is the discount thing coming in? Remember, if somebody offers you a discount, let's say conditional discount, or in terms of now the price.
No, they haven't. They haven't, Henry. So it's that point about comparative pricing. It's not described here. Yeah. The comparative price. Good point. The question is going to be, is that something that you want to see in the regulation, or is that something that is in the hands of the organ of state? They've then got this point here, which is the criteria for breaking deadlock. What if you score the same points? Who do you give it to? And again, they've brought, as we've got currently, where you say you give it to the one that scores the highest triple B points, it's going to be you give it to the one who scores the highest specific goals. And then they've got, and if they're exactly the same, then you decide by the drawing of lots. I'm not sure if this is something necessarily that needs to be in this regulation. And then Regulation 9 basically says that it must be awarded to the tenderer who does not score the highest point. It may be awarded to the tenderer that did not score the highest points, but in accordance with the 2(1)(f) of the Act. 2(1)(f) of the Act is the objective criteria. And then they've got all the remedies. And this is all around misrepresentation, false representation, etc. They've repealed all regulations made under Section 5 of the Act and given these a short title, Preferential Procurement Regulation 2022.